Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast featuring your host Superfly and Danny Daybars Open. What's good?
What's good, my dude? How are you, man? I see the hair is looking a little bit browner by the day. Did you like go to your girl to get it done, or is it just naturally happening?
So I actually got it. I think we talked about it last episode or maybe the one before, but I got it bleached by my homie's girl, my barber's girl who does who dyes hair. Not his actual girl, but this girl he knows. And I was kind of disappointed right after she did it because the shit wasn't anything like I had showed her. Like it wasn't as bright. And she kept saying like, give it time, it'll get lighter. And like I didn't really believe her because she was trying to say like it was because my hair was damp and shit. And I went in the mirror and like did everything to like see if the color was there. And like I literally had to shine the phone on it and like be out in the sun and shit just for it to show up. But then for like I guess it just naturally happens over time or something, because now like I think it's
because it was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, so maybe
you can tell us a little bit. I mean, it's not as light as the picture you showed me, which your goal was, but it's definitely lighter.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do one more round with another girl. I think it also takes time for, I think like you can't go from like pitch black hair to bright. Like you have to over time re-bleach it and shit to get it to that point.
Okay, bet. So I didn't bleach my shit, but I cut my own hair yesterday, bro. So what happened was, I was in New York for like, you guys know, like for the past 3 weeks or 2 weeks. So dude, I was exposed to someone who may or may have not had COVID at the time. So like one of my boys, like he's doing fine by the way, but he found out like 2 days ago that he had it or has it right now, and there's a chance, because I was with him like a week before, that he may have had it then. So I was like, all right, man, I can't go. My barber's back open, but I can't just show up like, yo, cut my hair, like I look like a bucket. And then, dude, my girl also may be exposed. So I was like, listen, just go home. And I was just like, bro, I can't keep hopping on these Zoom videos and just looking bummed, because I can't wear my hat in a video, you know what I mean? So I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do? So I ended up like just like doing this shit myself. And low key, bro, I was like, yo, I could just do this and not need anybody. Yo, I don't know if you ever cut your hair before, but yo, this, like the 3/4 of this is easy, bro. I'm like, yo, I know how I like my shit. Yo, the back though, bro. Like, yo, trying to get a mirror and like, I'm like, bro, I would hate to like go out and have like a random massive hair spot. So, bro, I'm like looking in the mirror, looking in the back, and then I'm like, shh. But then I realized, yo, the hair is like, because obviously the mirror is like the opposite. So I'm like, oh, it's on the right side. Yo, I'm just like missing it like that.
I'm sure that's a nightmare trying to do.
Yo, it was a nightmare, bro. Like, I kept like having to take pictures. And I'm like, bro, like, I don't want to be like, when I go out, like, I don't want to have just like a fucking random hair patch and everything else is like clean. But it worked out though. I took like fucking 1,000 angles and made sure I had like no like patches. But yeah, it definitely adds like 35 minutes to the haircut process. But bro, I ain't got shit to do otherwise. So yeah, it worked out. How about, dude? So obviously, this episode is going to be a continuation of last week. I Still Can't Breathe, which obviously is out everywhere, and this is going to be called episode 31, No Justice, No Peace. We recorded right before all the, the protesting happened. So first and foremost, how's the scene out there in LA for you?
Yeah, I mean, this past weekend was wild. Like it escalated pretty much overnight. And I was just in shock because that's the kind of imagery I had only seen in either movies or in other countries. Or back in the day, like at the LA riots. And it was wild because a lot of the looters were breaking shit in like places I frequented before we went to quarantine. I know those shouldn't be mixed in with the protesters, because there's definitely massive crowds of peaceful protesters not doing a single thing wrong to the police or property. But in every moment of chaos, there's people who want to take advantage, and those people were destroying a lot of places I never knew they would destroy. Part of me thought it felt a little cool just because I felt like a revolution was kind of going on, and like people were just fed up and done with this shit. So I was never like one to kind of harp on all of that stuff. But this week, I think it's definitely calmed down. I haven't like seen all that stuff taking place. Granted, the National Guard's here, so like people aren't trying to get fucking sprayed up and everything by them.
Yeah, which would be crazy, bro. Like, I know he's been threatening that, but like, dude, like, if that were to take place, oh my god, bro. Yeah. Like, oh my god.
I think at that point, people would take it to the next level. Like,
oh, dude, like, I don't want to put this out there, like, they destroy our fucking podcast, but like, yo, there would be a hit out on Trump, bro. Like, you know, like, bro, like, if that were to happen, yo, this motherfucker could not step outside without fucking just. Like,
yeah, and I think people would be doing that to the National Guard and stuff too. Like at that point, like there's some like lunatic who's just waiting for a reason to, hurt those folks. So I'm not sure if it's happened anywhere at this point in time, and I don't want to put that energy out there, but I was actually surprised that didn't already happen. I was thinking all these Antifa motherfuckers were gonna be out there just blowing people's heads off and stuff, but.
Dude, did you see that thing where like apparently like a white supremacist group hacked the Antifa account?
No, I didn't.
So Antifa, like someone hacked into or made a new Antifa USA account and was like try to pretend to be like African Americans, black people, just say, yo, it's time we got to go to the white hoods, show them what the fuck this is about, blah 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 blah. To like antagonize obviously white supremacists that come out and be like, no, you're not gonna fucking come to our neighborhoods and fucking like start more drama. And they found out like that Antifa account was absolute bullshit. But the crazy thing is that Donald Trump Jr. fucking retweeted that shit and was like, look at these hooligans, this is who you have defending you, blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, like you gotta fucking verify this shit before you just out here retweeting fucking like civil war movements and shit.
Yeah.
But bro, so it was weird. So I drove back to Florida Saturday night, man. I was a little bit nervous because like I'm going through there's no state in America that doesn't have something going on, dude. So I went from New Jersey to New York to Atlanta to fucking North Carolina, Florida. So like luckily, bro, like I was driving, like I was on the main part of the road by like 6 o'clock. So like I guess everything already died down. People had curfew. But fuck, bro, I had my entire family and friends like hitting me up like, bro, you safe? Did you make it home? Because like, I'm like, yo, I just got to North Carolina. Yo, be careful, there's a curfew. Get on the. I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck? Like, it's literally, it's all happening while I'm driving. So like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
But dude, like in New York, bro, like, dude, places that I hang out with in the Bronx or in Manhattan, Brooklyn, just fucking lit up. Cops acting a damn fool, bro. There was one scene where. Like the two SUVs that just came through and fucking took out like 30 to 40 people. I'm like, bro, like again, I try to understand like if you're one cop in a car and people are just banging on your shit, I'm sure you feel a certain kind of way. But bro, I feel like worst case scenario, you reverse and like, yo, let me get the fuck out of here. Not yo, let me just fucking ram through some people and see what happens, bro. Like, again, it's easier said than done. But that just looked like fuck, bro. These people don't give a fuck who they take out.
Right.
And then you sent me that link on the NYPD like audio stuff where they're like, "Yo, we had people in front of us. What do we do?" And the other guy's like, "Fucking shoot them or something." I'm like, bro, like what? Like this is why we're fucking protesting. You can't just. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's wild. And the worst part too is, so now we have curfews in effect. Like every fucking.
Same in Florida.
Yeah, like every day, and I'll get multiple alerts saying 6 p.m. curfew, then 10 minutes later 4 p.m. I don't know why they don't make up their fucking minds because it happens every day. But it's also it's annoying because I mean it's kind of lax. Like I've been told as long as you're not out and about loitering and shit, and like cops aren't gonna be pulling you over and stuff necessarily. But
we say that, but then that fucking couple in Atlanta got their fucking shit beat out of them, like.
So I think it really depends on the cop. It comes down back to like profiling shit. Like I'm sure if some old white lady is strolling to CVS, no one's gonna say anything. But if they find me, at 8 o'clock trying to get a pizza or something, they might throw my ass in jail. So it was really hard I couldn't even get food yesterday because everything was closed down and everyone's all afraid and shit. And I had fortunately McDonald's came through. I was like. Whenever I've needed them,
McDonald's, bro,
I know.
But they'd be like, yo, they're there for you, bro. Right. They were there for you as a kid. They're there for you now, bro.
Doesn't matter if it's Christmas, if it's 3 a.m. in the morning, you have the munchies. If there's a fucking pandemic, like they're just always there. And it was the best meal I could have asked for at that moment. So shout out to them.
Big Mac?
Quarter pounder with large fries.
Dude, it's okay. So obviously I'm a big ass fucking dude, but is it just me though, or like as we get older, like we get through those sandwiches much quicker? Like, bro, like I feel like I have a Big Mac and like in 3 bites I'm like, where the fuck is my sandwich? And like when I was a kid, this is the biggest and best thing ever. Like I had to take 3 hours to finish it. And now I'm just like, this what? Like what?
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, like when you were a kid, when you got McDonald's, you felt like it was like a real dinner experience that was gonna last you like the whole night and shit. Whereas now it's just like a snack, like a protein bar or something.
That's exactly. And then I'm like, so that's why like when I order McDonald's, like even when I'm not drunk or high, I'm like, all right, let me get a Big Mac, large fries, large Coke, 20 chicken piece McNuggets, and I'm just like, bro, it just sounds like so much, but it's not. Like it's just like it's fucking bird food. Yeah. Luckily for me, bro, like so where I live, they're protesting really in like downtown Fort Lauderdale. So like I'm like 20 minutes in. So like they're not starting or ending up here at all. So I was able to get, because I didn't have shit when I got back home on Sunday. So I was able to get groceries, and hopefully I'm okay for like at least the next week or so. Because like I don't want to, God forbid, I'm fucking like outside socially distancing at Trader Joe's and they just fucking roll through it. I'm just like, oh fuck, like like I'm down for it, but I'm not. I also can get back to work. Like I don't know how to do it. I'm curious, because a couple people asked me, like they're really like consciously looking, and we'll go into like social media as well. I feel like people are very consciously looking to see how everyone is reacting to this, right? Be it a donation, out protesting as well, what you're posting. Has anyone brought up, one, how you're, dealing with it and what you are and aren't posting? And then 2, have you been aware of like what your company or other companies are or are not doing?
Yeah, this is a good question. Me personally, no one's like been asking what I'm doing, just because I think it's because I'm Black. They're more concerned with like how I feel rather than like if I'm donating and doing this and that. Maybe like my brothers and shit will like send a link here and there, but it never goes beyond that much. I think it's been like my boss at work and a couple friends that are non-Black, mainly white, that have been basically reflecting on everything, saying like, I'm sorry for like all these years that I wasn't able to understand some of the things that you have been going through, because I posted on my Instagram as well.
Dude, that was a great post, by the way, because I feel like I didn't mean to cut you off, but I feel like normally we're both very like understanding of other people's feelings, and I feel we're both like, yo, this when I use Instagram, it's more like, yo, here's a fun picture, well, let's keep it moving. And I feel like that was like the first time I ever saw you like give actual like, this is what I'm feeling. So dude, kudos to you for sharing that. Yeah,
I appreciate that. And originally I wasn't gonna post that. I was gonna post maybe like literally 2 or 3 sentences tops, and then post like another Instagrammer's like verbal account of how to analyze all this. But then I found myself just continuing to write, and I'm like, fuck it, let me just write the whole story. So it was good to get that out, because I think a lot of people think being racist means just using slurs and like spitting on people that don't look like you and like all the shit you see in movies. And maybe it's the word racism that needs to be tweaked a little bit, and we talk about like prejudice and bias and stuff, because I feel like no one in this day and age really wants to be called a racist. I think KKK, like, they don't even consider themselves racist. They can consider themselves like preserving whiteness and all that.
Yeah, they had like Rush Limbaugh was on like Breakfast Club 2 days ago, and he was like, and they were asking like, how do we take down white supremacy? And he's like, well, I'm not a white supremacist, so I wouldn't know. And we're like, bro, really? Like, and they were like, yo, so what do you think about white privilege? He's like, well, what's that? I have no idea what that is. I'm like, oh my God, like, bro, you don't get it.
Yep. But like in terms of people's reactions, I think this is where I'm still confused and not sure how to move forward, because like I've seen people say, oh, if you post a black square, you're on the bandwagon. If you don't, you're racist and don't support the movement. If you do post it with the Black Lives Matter hashtag and Black Lives Matter is too controversial, it's all lives matter. And I'm just like, okay, so what central thing do we agree upon? Because it seems like people are questioning other people's authenticity, and that prevents them from wanting to fucking do anything at all, maybe. So I think that's where this all starts to get confusing. Is like people, non-black people, especially people who aren't of color, like how can they get on board without like stepping on each other's toes and coming across like they're trying to just be trendy?
Yeah, dude. So first of all, I don't know about you, but I felt like I was not duped. But again, just like every other social media hype train, the Blackout Tuesday thing, I personally think the idea was phenomenal. I posted it. I know you posted one as well, the black square. But I feel like the rollout and understanding behind it was completely misunderstood by everyone, bro. Black, white, Latino, Asian, whoever. Cause yeah, man, like it just didn't like. It was like a post a black square, then it's like, all right, now what? Like, is this the activism of the day? And then we fucking keep it moving.
Yeah.
So like again, everyone I think did it because they obviously are like, all right, this is what we're doing, fine. But then when you realize, all right, if you use a certain hashtag, you're blocking out other things, and then like people were like, all right, I'm only gonna post it, and then like I'm gonna turn my phone off for the day. Like, dude, even I was like, all right, so is this like just like turn off my notifications and like leave Instagram alone? Like
yeah.
I mean, it was just very like whoever thought of this. You don't even know like where it came from, bro. Because some people say it's about the music industry, like, yo, we're just gonna focus on pushing like Black Lives Matter stuff and not worry about promoting our own music, which then that makes sense. But then should it just be like a music thing? And if you're like a normal human being not in that industry, then keep fucking posting everything. So it was a little bit confusing, bro. Because even when I went to the explore page, bro, yeah, like you're looking for actual information of whatever, and it's just fucking black boxes. So again, the idea behind it was amazing, but I think the fucking rollout and true understanding of it was confusing as fuck, and may have been honestly anti what we're trying to do. Because if you think about it, like I believe Tuesday was a massive election day in a lot of fucking states.
Yeah.
And like again, you should have known about that prior to the day of the election. So to say, oh, that's fucked up, like if you're gonna vote, you should have known about voting fucking 3 weeks ago at least. But it kind of makes sense. We're like, yo, this is the time we're trying to fucking rally the troops and really get this movement going. And then to just say, you know what, let's just be quiet today. Which again, I don't feel like throughout the day it got better. But dude, that first like from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., I feel like people were just posting black squares and had no idea what the fuck else to do. Like,
yeah. I'm sure at some point everyone's just like, okay, I just have to do it because everyone else is. The way I took it was blackout as in terms of like protesting, or just not partaking in social media, like, or things that weren't relevant to the movement. So
right, like don't post a selfie.
yeah, like don't post a selfie or you walking your dog or some shit. Like the feed should just be covered in this, and like those who may not be as aware have no choice but to like see this trend, like the Fire Festival thing, sort of, that was an orange square. But yeah, to your point, I didn't even hashtag Black Lives Matter in mine, but it didn't even occur to me that this could potentially muddy the Explore feed or whatever.
I put Blackout Tuesday, but then they're like, yo, remove that shit. I was like, all right, I'll do some research before I remove it, because then I removed it. But it was just like, damn, bro, like everyone I feel genuinely thought like this is a good thing. And again, it probably was, but it just like, damn, we really fucked this up for like 3 hours. Like that's how it felt. Like, yo, we're making this shit worse. Like, but yeah, man. So as far as like I see myself, and I've been talking to other friends, I'm curious to see you, and obviously we won't name names, in case the 5 people listening get offended. But I was definitely like very aware of certain people who I still consider friends, but like weren't posting shit, bro. Like just not like. And like we're still going about like, oh, getting food here, and oh, great delivery from Uber Eats, and I'm just like, yo. And even people who post the black square were still fucking talking about like their fitness class they're in. I'm like, bro, this is not what we're fucking doing today. So have you been aware of that shit? You're pretty much like, bro, like to each their own. If you want to be a part of it, be a part of it, or if you're not, you're not.
I was aware of it too. Me personally, I didn't mind the non protesting related posts, so long as they were actively participating and not like being lazy about it. Like for instance, there's some influencers who I followed who like were literally at the protests and had back-to-back posts and everything, and then it was just like a picture of them feeding their dog or something. So like in that instance, I wasn't like angry, like, oh, this is the only fucking thing you can possibly do today, because I had to take a break too and like, I don't know, play video games for 30 minutes just to like
breathe, bro. Yeah,
breathe and like not fucking break down and pass out. So I didn't mind that too much, but there are some friends who I know who haven't really posted anything. But again, I know they don't post shit like in general. They don't repost.
Right.
And I've heard them, speak on like how ridiculous it is that the looters are there and Antifa and stuff. And no one's ever been like outright racist or said George Floyd, doesn't deserve justice or anything. But like, I could sense there was a part of them that was really uncomfortable and like wanted to demonize the looters instead of focusing on the overall message. And in a weird way, I know like the looting and Antifa and whoever else these agitators are ruining the message, but I'm like, you can be intelligent enough to see that, to still understand the message and see past that. So why are you complaining, especially if you're not going to be able to do anything about it? Like criminals are going to be criminals regardless of race or what the situation is or anything. So who gives a fuck if these 20 people are breaking into the Van store and stealing shit? Like, that still doesn't change the fact that police are brutalizing people of color and making our lives harder. Like, just because one bad apple happens to ruin things doesn't mean we have to just be like, all right, well, this is what you get, sort of thing, because they want to act like this police officer is a bad apple as well. And it's not the same thing, because this happens much more frequently and we expect the police to not kill us. So it's a much bigger issue. I don't care if it's 10 cops doing this. Like, they're also very complicit too, because they're just standing by watching the other officers do this shit. So that's what drives me crazy too, is it's like this evil brotherhood in a lot of ways, and for some reason they can't like denounce the bullshit.
Yeah, like the whole Protect Blue fucking movement, where you just have to, like, even if you witness if you're a cop and you witness another cop do the worst shit possible, you're like, well, I can't snitch on my brother. It's like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like, why did you even take that badge in the first place? Which we'll get into the whole history of the cops in a second. But dude, my annoyance is with the so we'll go back to that point though. So I notice people who aren't posting shit, but to your point, I know a lot of people who never post shit. So it's like, I'm not gonna get mad at you because on this day when this entire thing is happening, you may just be off the grid. And again, dude, you don't know what people are doing in the background, bro. Like, that same person who's not posting may also be fucking donating 10 times what I've donated to help out people get bailed out of like jail for protesting. So again, to each their own. You just hope, like, I would hate to see a friend of mine or someone who I consider a friend be the vocal one saying, all lives matter first. There's only a few bad apples that are rooting for the rest. Or just saying, George Floyd was antagonizing the police, some fucking outlandish shit like that, and knock on wood that hasn't happened yet. But if I saw that, bro, that would really make me feel some fucking kind of way where I probably, I don't know about engage in a back and forth on social media, which is fucking nonsense, but like, just like legit, like, cut this person out of my life. Like, bro, like, because if you're going to go that route, like, it's one thing to be silent, which is also fucking terrible, I think. But if you're going to be the other route where you just like blatantly think that everything's okay or it's not a big deal, then I'm like, bro, there's nothing. Like, there's people in your life that come through in phases. Like, the next phase of my life can't have people like that in it, because like there's no fucking way it's gonna work. So
yeah.
But yeah, my biggest shit is. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's also this like this tango of politics getting involved with it too, and obviously you can't, or at least I feel like it's tricky in that sense, because I'm also against the idea of people, like, when I see people defriend people on Facebook and stuff over like a couple random comments that aren't like what you just mentioned. Sometimes it pains me, just because I'm like, if these fools met up in person and had a conversation, maybe it would have gone differently.
Sure. Yeah.
And I get in a lot of like heated anonymous social media disputes with people I don't even know, or I had been this past week, just because I have been seeing like all lives matter and stuff. But I guess it also depends on like, you know, who the friend is, because if I saw someone say all lives matter, I feel like I'll get fired up to the point where like I almost would be relentless and couldn't stop until that person like changed their mind, sort of thing.
Change their mind,
yeah, like something within me is like, all lives matter literally makes no sense to me. How could you not see it? Like, until you consider my opinion, like I can't let you go out into the world and tell like 10 other people, like, sort of thing. So I think that's a tricky thing for me too, is like I have a tendency to like want to win the argument in a way. But yeah, like if I saw one of my friends just, you know, spewing all that crap on the internet, that would really make me reconsider my friendship as well, just because I realize now like how much that rhetoric does and can affect me and people that look like me.
Yeah. Dude, but I feel like there's also like a lot of people who probably are just like not saying anything because like they know how they feel and like just don't want that fucking absolute ambush of like, are you fucking crazy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like, bro, let me just like not say anything.
Yeah. Just like supporting Trump.
Yeah. Just like, well, it's not Trump's fault. And dude, all those Trump supporters have gone fucking silent, by the way. Like I know I see more like left side news and shit like that, but like even on a normal, like I don't see anyone out here like, yeah, Trump's doing his thing. It's like, yo, let's just not deal with this shit right now.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, they definitely got backed into a corner and haven't said shit, except in Huntington Beach, which is I don't know, maybe 30 miles south of where I live, and it's crazy because it's like a nice family beach town, but for whatever reason it's like a skinhead, like bald, tatted up white dudes who are like super pro Trump, like pro gun and everything. And I'm fine, I'm pro gun, but like I saw footage of them taunting like groups of Black Lives Matter supporters. One dude, if I heard him correctly, which I think I did, they're basically asking the group like, well, you know, why are you out here? Like basically implying that like police brutality is a myth and like all that stuff. And one of the girls who was protesting was like, because I have like black friends and I love black people and I want to fight for them and stuff. And one of the white dudes was like, he's like, my mom fucked a black dude, like I love black people.
Wow.
Just taunting them and like trying to make a mockery out of all this. And it's funny because these are the same people who want their right to, you know, say, you know, close the border and all the other shit, and they don't want to be censored and feel like their voices aren't being heard, and yet they're doing the same thing, claiming that these people are, you know, like disturbing the peace and this and that. So the hypocrisy of it all kills me when like I see shit like that.
Dude, but I smile when you say close the border, because I think the irony is Mexico and Canada's like, bro, close the border. We don't want any Americans. Like, yo, we're good. Do your thing, dog. Like, yo, we don't want any of this bullshit.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yo, dude, because my thing is, I'll go back to, dude, just growing up. So I went to UM in 2007. So Obama got elected in 2008. So like there was like a 3-year span that I was traveling a lot, like back to India, back to Miami, like I'm stopping in different countries in between. So bro, like I remember being like a kid traveling when Bush was president, and people just thought Americans were fucking morons, right? Like so idiotic, like this guy's a fucking tool, blah, blah, blah. Dude, so then I saw the acceptance and like loving of other people once Obama became president, because like people are like, bro, like, wow, this is your example, a well-spoken, well put together, handsome, just fucking intelligent dude, right? All right, cool. We'll accept you again. This is the America we, you know, all thought about as kids. Bro, but now when I fucking travel, bro, it's like, are you one of those fucking terrible human beings? Like, bro, this is such a bad look for America. Because I remember like walking through airports with my passport, like, this is fucking gold. And now it's just a fucking like confirmation that you fucking belong to one of the dumbest fucking countries in the world, bro. Like that's just like, that's what's annoying for me, as like we both travel a lot, bro. Like I feel like the perception now of America is like, bro, like how the fuck are you letting this happen? You know what I mean? That's why I think so many countries are protesting with us, like Australia, France, like England, like bro, every country in the world is like, bro, like we love you, bro, like we love America, like this can't keep happening, which is fucking amazing, bro. Like, so I was gonna ask you this, like, what? Because I was like watching like a bunch of documentaries last night, like. Do you know how like America always like invades a fucking nation, obviously for their own agenda, but like they use like, well, the person in charge is, you know, terribly treating the people. Dude, what if someone just fucking invaded us and be like, bro, you guys are doing a fucking terrible job. Right. Like we're here to take you out. Like, bro, like yo, like someone save us, bro, because this shit's bad.
Again, hypocrisy. If they, like, I of course wouldn't want, you know, some other country, you know, running the streets and shooting a bunch of people and shit just to fix us. And neither would these, you know, extremist right-wing dudes who are claiming that these looters are out of control and like, you know, not behaving like, you know, citizens and everything. So I think that's where the hypocrisy lies, is that they just don't understand, like, they can't empathize with anyone, because if they could, they wouldn't be out in the streets trying to shoot people. And don't get me wrong, like, this is the first time I've always considered getting a firearm, but this is the first time where I'm like, I literally like need this shit in like a month. Just seeing all these people, I'm not even gonna pin it only on the extremists, but just desperate people who are fucked over because of the economy and shit and might want to break into my house and rob me. And my girl, apparently someone was trying to fucking hack, or did hack, her parents' garage door, and like it opened a couple times. They don't have any firearms or anything, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, this shit is real. I don't really think the government's gonna take them away, especially not Trump, because if Trump took away guns, like, he wouldn't have a single supporter left.
Dude, he wouldn't have anyone left.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's
he's already losing like Christian groups. So yeah. Like,
yep. I'm like, that conspiracy is over with if you believe he's taking away guns. So I'm just like, you know, maybe I need to like actually protect myself, because I realized everyone I know also happens to have them. So I'm like, shit is super real now.
Yeah, dude, that's funny. Like, I'm the opposite. So I've always been like, not anti-gun. Like, I don't want you to not have a gun if you want a gun. I'm just like afraid of guns personally. Yeah. But dude, so obviously when I was in New Jersey, like, my uncle's a fucking Marine, strapped up. Like, bro, anyone walks anywhere near that fucking like outdoor area, like, yo, you're getting fucking laid out on one shot. So like, I felt very safe. But now that I'm here alone, and I do, obviously all these apartments like have like the worst, like, dude, I remember when I lost my key once at like a football game, and I got to my door, I'm like, fuck, bro, I called like the key person, bro, they were able to break into my apartment within like 5 seconds. So like, this is not, obviously, luckily I'm in a gated community, so like, you would think like, all right, well, I'm good, like, knock on wood. But I was very aware, like, damn, bro, if someone just busted in here right now, like besides my hands, like, I ain't got shit. And that's the first time I was like, damn, like, maybe I should fucking just buy a little fucking gun just to fucking feel safer or something. But it just sucks that it has to come to that, bro, where like someone like me who's been like always like, bro, I don't fuck with guns. Like, you know, when am I ever going to be in the fucking position that I need one? Even me, I'm just like, damn, I really wish I had like a little fucking small little gun, and just to, you know, just to feel like, yo, like, God forbid anything happens, like, yo, I'm good to go. Which is just crazy, like, to think about like 5 months ago, like, that would never be in either of our psyche. Yeah,
that's how I am too. Like, I was just afraid of the device. Like, even if it's unloaded, I get this like overwhelming feeling of like, this item could literally take somebody, including my own life, in a matter of seconds. So for me, I'm like, I don't even want that like energy unless, you know, I'm in the wilderness, living kind of in the middle of nowhere, where it might take cops 20 minutes to get to me, sort of thing. Because I have a tennis racket and like fucking bear mace and shit, but that's not gonna help if someone else has a weapon. So
yeah, bro, I got a bunch of fucking alcohol bottles, and that's about it. So like, that's after the first 4 bottles are gone, like, bro, I'm fucking done. Dude, but it's funny because I remember actually like back in like 2002, I was at my dad owned a record store in the Bronx, and they got robbed like a week prior. So I came one day after school, and my brother was watching the store, and he bought a gun for the store, and it was just us in the store at the time. He's like, yo, let me show it to you. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm good. And he legit like grabbed my head and was like, yo, touch it. I was like, bro, I'm gonna start crying. Like, get this shit away from me, bro. Like, I was like 11 years old, but like, even at that early age, bro, I'm just like, bro, that chick could kill someone, it can hurt me. Like, you know, we think it's all fun and games. I'm like, bro, get that shit. I've always been against it, bro. Like, again, I'm not against you having it. I'm just for myself. I'm just like, bro, like why would I need that, bro? Like, why if I'm in a position where I feel like I need a gun, like obviously not assuming the world's fucking absolutely burning down. Yeah. I would think like, bro, I'm in a fucking bad position in life. Like, I'm living in the worst fucking neighborhood. Like, I fucked up. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, yo, I'm doing well in life. You know, getting promotions. You know, life's good. Like, why would I need a gun? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, that logic totally makes sense. So we'll see what happens. At the worst case, I'm probably gonna hit up like a shooting range or something just for fun, because I always kind of wanted to do that anyways. Mm-hmm. And maybe that'll like alleviate some of the fears and stuff of owning one. So we'll see.
For sure. So like obviously we'll go into an audio a drop of the day in a second, but dude, what's like the coolest thing you've seen? Like something that really made you fucking take a like just smile throughout this past week? Because obviously everything can be super fucking depressing. So there had to be at least one thing you felt really, really good about.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not necessarily good, but the audio of these two, I think it was one gentleman, well not so gentle, but this dude who like hacked the police scanner or whatever.
In New York, in the Bronx, just like that.
And he was like, suck my dick, and he did that for like a solid like 2 minutes. I don't know how he did that or knew how to operate it, but it was just hilarious seeing or hearing the cops try to communicate like to each other while he's chiming in and interrupting them with that, and they're trying to be all professional and everything. So that was hilarious. Like that to me was pretty harmless. It's just like a child prank basically. But like I guess on a more like positive, you know, spiritual note, I think seeing the videos of the cops like tear up and you know, be with the crowd and kind of denounce the bullshit that's going on, because I know a lot of them are, you know, kind of keep it PC, and you can never really tell if they mean what they're saying, kind of like when your CEO or whatever is telling everyone how much, you know, they love every employee and
people first and then everybody's fired.
Like shit like that. And I still don't fully like trust all of that, nor do I want it to make it seem like, you know, we're all fucking holding hands and happy now and no one's ever going to get killed unjustly ever again. So like, although those moments did make me happy, like I'm reminding myself, like still have like a little bit of like doubt and like fire in your heart to keep pushing the message until like there's true change. And we don't have to fucking burn down America every single time, you know, something happens just to ensure that these people are charged. Because I feel like part of the reason why they're charging these guys now is like they know if they don't, like we're gonna take it to the next level and America's not gonna exist and it's just gonna be game over. So like they have to charge these motherfuckers.
Those are two great ones. I mean that was the first one was hysterical. Like you need to find moments to laugh. So I guess we do a laughing one for me as well. It was, I think Duval posted like right after on, I guess Saturday night when the people did like the whole like SpaceX exploration. He's like, yo, shout out to those two guys who are like, yo, fuck this world, we're out. Like that was
everyone was jealous
of. Bro, like these motherfuckers like, you know what, let's just leave the planet. Like let's just go somewhere else. So that was funny to me. And then I know a point you wanted to talk about, so we'll expand on it as well. But just seeing so many celebrities, bro, like white, Latino, blacks, just out there and like, you know, marching and being there for the people. I think it's cool because obviously, like, if you're an artist, you know, celebrity, or, you know, musician, whatever, like you already have like a very liberal mindset, right? Like you're going into a profession that's not the norm, right? The norm is get a job, 9 to 5, go home with your family. This is like, bro, like you just being dedicated to like a specific craft. So I feel like they innately have that like we're for the people mentality, but to really see them out there not giving a fuck about all of their $1 million sponsorships, that was a really a cool vibe for me. I know you wanted to touch upon that as well because I think that that tugged at you as well.
It's been really great to see artists of all shades come together and like really take a stand on this. Again, there's always going to be like this PR element to it where if they don't say something, people are going to flame them until they damn near are canceled from the culture, whatever that means. But at the same time, I think it really shows me that some people do have compassion and empathy. And I've seen them go beyond just reposting too. I think they talk about their own careers and experiences, and like definitely give credit to the Black people that have like influenced their careers. And not only that, educating the white people who listen to them too. So it's not just like, oh, like, thank you Black people for allowing me in your space. It's like, hey, all you white kids that look like me and like my music, like, this is a real issue. And if you don't like, you know, me saying Black Lives Matter or whatever it is, fuck you. Stop buying my music and attending my shows and stuff. Just kind of trimming the fat and cutting all these toxic people out of
dude, like, so Seth Rogen posted a Black Lives Matter thing, and he's like, bro, any one of you fucking put in all lives matter or some bullshit, I'm gonna roast you. And bro, he was fucking to the point. Like, anyone wrote all lives matter, he's like, fuck you, don't watch my movies, you don't deserve me. I'm like, bro, like, this motherfucker is flaming these people, bro.
There was a comment, I think someone said like, I like all lives matter, and then I think he responded, I like fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, you could just tell based on, I think with some people you can tell too how passionate they are. Like Seth Rogen, based on his responses, granted they weren't like the most eloquent, detailed responses, but like the fact that every comment, like, he's this celebrity who could be, you know, fucking on a jet right now just sipping martinis, is sitting on his phone responding to everyone saying like, you are an idiot, like, over and over, essentially. So I think
but even if, like, for him, like, you wouldn't expect him to be that eloquent. Like, his movies aren't that, right? He's a funny like dude. But then, like, it also makes sense, bro. He's fucking Canadian. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't brought up in this like I'm better than you kind of mentality like a lot of white Americans have. So and again, he's a fucking pothead, bro. Like, they're all about like, yo, like, we're all one. Like, we all come from the world, man. We're all like, you know what I mean? So like, I get it. Like, I would expect that from him, but like, it was also just really cool to fucking see.
Yeah. It was awesome. In terms of like responsibility, I feel like they are in a space to where they do really need to use their influence for good, because that's like inherently the role they have. So like, if these influencers are all about, you know, being this personality and everything that like persuades the masses to be a certain way, like, if you're inherently a good person or like who wants good for others, like, you should take the time out to say something. And no one's gonna be perfect with their responses. Like, I feel like everyone's response might irk people in some ways, but like, I feel like if you have that level of influence, it kind of says a lot about you. If you choose to do nothing, I mean, you gotta influence in some way. Like, if you want to be like let's say The Weeknd or whatever, and donate $500,000 and like not say a word otherwise, like, I'm cool with that too. But like, if you have all this influence and you don't do any of the like 100 options of like educating the masses, then it kind of it irks me, just because what are you in this profession for then? Like, why make all this music and talk about how it's about the struggle and stuff, and then when real shit is happening, like, you shy away from
right now? Yeah. I agree with that, bro. Especially for all those people who have like the majority of your fans are Black. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, like, you can't just be like, you know, like, let me just stay quiet on this one. Like, bro, like, the people who support you, let you provide for your family are fucking hurting right now. So like, that's why when the NFL came out with that bullshit, like, yo, like, we stand with the people of Minneapolis because of what, like, bro, no, you don't. Like, you stand with fucking making money, because if you stood for against racism, Kaepernick would still be in the NFL fucking, you know, on a team. So that was a fucking, and I think NFL players and fans saw right through that shit. It's like, bro, no, you fucking don't, bro. Like, donate some fucking money and just shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of the way. Because like, I think the fans can see through the bullshit. What I was gonna say. So how did you feel about The Weeknd calling out all those labels that have yet to like donate money, because I thought that was a cool thing. But like, because if anyone profits the most off fucking Black culture, it's Spotify, it's Apple, it's Universal, it's like, so that was a cool thing, because it's one thing to fucking put a statement out, but it's one thing to put like, all right, it's gonna affect me financially, but it's worth it,
For sure. Yeah, I think some people need to put their money where their mouth is to prove that they're about it. Some others can do it in other ways, like willing to march and volunteer at this and that organization, but like companies like that, I feel 100% need to be financially involved in some way and donate. Because I remember when I interned at Atlantic Records several years back in college, nearly everyone I saw was white, and I didn't necessarily like. Obviously, if they're into hip hop and everything, they should have a right to work in the industry and to make moves and stuff. But at the same time, it felt kind of, it's always just been weird seeing how these men who have like this fascination with men and women who have this fascination with the craft and everything, are kind of making the brunt of the money and pulling all the strings, whereas you have these like young Black artists just kind of churning out these hits back to back and only seeing a small percentage of it. And when you think about it, it's like a lot of these rappers like Kendrick and whoever have all this money, and for a fact these companies have like infinitely more, just because these artists are only getting a very small sliver of the pie. So I think they definitely need to get involved, because I mean, hip hop is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest genre, and a cash cow for them. And if they don't put money into something, like I don't give a fuck how many times they post on Facebook and shit like that.
Right.
So they better do something.
I agree with that, bro. And I definitely want to defend. So like, so it's funny. So Virgil, the designer, musician, DJ, whatever. So we have a mutual friend, a DJ in Miami. So like that DJ posted like, hey, I have friends who run this program to help bail out people in Miami who are protesting. I'm donating $50. Please match me, right? Mm-hmm. So I matched him. It was like, and he posted it. And then I just saw like a second later, Virgil posted, like matched him and posted it as well. And it was like, yo, but the internet lost its mind. Like, how dare you, Virgil? Your fucking t-shirts cost $1,000 and you're only donating $50. I'm like, bro, like, calm the fuck down. Like, the fact that he went on to explain, like, Virgil, like, yo, like, first of all, I'm black. Like, you know what I mean? Like I am fucking terrified for my life when I walk into Chicago. I fucking have donated close to like $300,000. Like, calm the fuck down. But like, bro, if you clearly just see that the dude said, match me, not like give me $1 million, and then I mean, like, so like, I just feel like people are so close to like, oh, you're not fucking doing it right. It's like, bro, like, chill. Like, you don't know. And like, to do that to like literally like the blackest dude in the industry, like, that was just like, bro, like, calm the fuck down. Like,
but I mean, I think some of that animosity comes from, I mean, one, they don't understand the context of it. They're quick to like pocket check these people, and if you're not donating like anything that's below or above like 3 or 4 zeros, then you're not shit. Especially in hip hop, because I think it's such a braggadocious genre. Like, I got all these bands and stuff, so when they see someone like, I'm not saying Kendrick did this, but if The Weeknd, for instance, had donated even just like $1,000 or $500, you'll like all those times he talked about having this and that, and all the private jets and flashy cars and stuff, people are gonna question their morals still, because it's like, yo, you got a fucking $500,000 watch on, but you can't donate $10,000 to this cause or whatever. So
right.
I think they have like an extra burden, because they make money off of stunting and bragging about this and that, but then when shit hits the fan and they have to put their money where their mouth is, a lot of these artists like are kind of afraid to sacrifice money for something that's not gonna enhance their appearance, even if it's just like enhancing their image.
Yeah, you're right.
Otherwise,
you're right. Yeah, no, I can see why people jump to that, but it's like, bro, like I feel like I feel sometimes like, especially it's like amongst like the people in the culture, like the Black Latino community, it's like, bro, we're not even willing to give our own sometimes the benefit of the doubt. It's like, you're fucking up, do it right. It's like, bro, like chill, like yo, let me explain how I'm going about this. It's first like, no, do it this way. It's just like, come on, man, like we can't. I feel like just shit like that makes us like lose focus on what we're trying to achieve, as opposed to like, yo, they want us to fight amongst us and not fucking, move forward. So that's just why I was like, bro, really, we're fucking checking Virgil right now over some fucking a donation. Like, come on, man. Like, let's keep it moving. So that was the coolest thing we saw. What was like one thing that really just fucking before we get into the theory drop of like, this really has fucking annoyed you the most?
Annoyed me the most has really been the people just kind of shaming the protesters in general and lumping the looters into all of this. For the life of me, I still can't understand how they aren't able to get past that and just focused on the message. I don't think anyone agrees that burning random buildings and throwing bricks at cops' faces and all that is necessary or right. But the question is, how do we get to this place? And an analogy I was trying to give to my friend was like the school shooter or kind of bully analogy was that a school, no one's ever going to say a school shooter is right for what they did. Everyone's going to agree that they should go to jail and serve time under the fullest extent of the law. But the question is, why did that individual feel the need to hurt innocent people? And a lot of times it's things like bullying and abuse that convinces someone over time that they're entitled to just wild out and be chaotic and hurt innocent people and do anything for that instant gratification and like revenge. Because I did go to school with somebody who was bullied, and I kind of had the foresight to know that eventually he might do some wild shit to someone who doesn't deserve it, and he did end up doing that. So I feel like this case is similar, and I didn't want to use that to imply that like the Black community is in any ways should be paralleled with a school shooter, but to just give some insight into like, you push certain people to a point, aka the looters specifically, to a point where they feel entitled to fuck shit up when the moment is at the right time, when the time comes. And I feel like we need to focus on aka the bullying and abuse, the police, in order to prevent some people from taking it that far and fucking things up, whether that's physical or just disrupting the overall message that everyone's trying to hear and get across.
Yeah, dude. And obviously, like, again, not to say like we know exactly how they feel. Even you, like, and if I'm wrong, check me right now. But even you, bro, like, you probably have no idea what it feels like to, like, obviously, thank God, like, you're employed, you're doing good for yourself in life. If God forbid anything happen at work, like, you have a family to fall back on for a certain amount of time, you'll be good, right? So imagine people who have been at the bottom of society their entire life, had a job. That job's been gone now for 3 months. They're waiting on a $1,200 check to help them do what? Like, what the fuck? It's cool for us, because, like, oh, dude, we have extra money, let's, like, maybe invest about. But, dude, if you need that money to survive, like, and you're still not employed, like, that is doing nothing for you, right? So, like, you can't pay rent. You can't fucking put food on your kid's table. Now you're terrified of going outside because you're going to get killed by the police. Bro, like, you were waiting for this to fucking just unleash that fucking rage, right? So that's like when people get fucking mad at them, bro. Like, I'm just like, you have no idea what that person is going through. Like, you're not thinking about, like, dude, how fucking beat up this person must be mentally to just feel like, yo, I'm gonna take this fucking brick and just destroy this fucking building right here because, yo, I am so mad at everyone right now. So I feel like we gotta, like, be very aware of that, but we can't be so focused on the result and not what led to the actual action in the first place.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that, and I definitely don't know what it feels like to basically be desperate enough to want to steal and rob and stuff like that. And when I've had shit like that happen to me, like it obviously pissed me off. Like I wanted to hurt the person. Like
Yeah.
fucking if I had a baseball bat at the time, maybe I'd want to smash the face in. But
Right. Because you can't justify it, but you
yeah.
can at least understand. It's like, all right, dude, like,
Yeah.
fuck, man, you really ruined my fucking day by breaking my car.
Yeah.
But, like, all
Yeah.
right, bro, like, just walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's my point.
Yeah, I think it just takes people. It takes people's ability to be objective and take a second to put themselves in other shoes. But I think for them, it's hard to do because they feel like they're justifying like a crime or an evil act, or they might even reflect on their own life and be like, well, I didn't have much growing up, and you don't see me, wanting to go to the Nike store and smash shit in and all that. But it's not as, I think it's a lot more complex than.
Yeah, it's not that black and white.
Yeah.
Like literally, no pun intended. Like it's not
Yeah.
that black and white.
Yeah.
And dude, I think for me the worst thing I've seen, and it goes back to like being embarrassed a little bit to be an American, is dude Trump, bro. Like, dude, like I think I told you, like, dude, I feel like he's an Instagram thought. You know what I mean? Like that fucking Instagram picture he wanted to take in front of the church. First of all, holding the Bible backwards, upside down in front of a closed church, and apparently dude, they had the military police like fucked up everyone who was just chilling there, because apparently one of the reverends at the church, like they were using that spot as a place like, yo, like if you have like tear gas in your eyes, come here, we'll take care of you. And the fact they came through and just fucking moved everyone out the way the most violently way possible, just for him not even to walk in and say a prayer, just to stand outside and take a picture, bro, that is fucking terrible, bro. Like terrible. And the thing is, like, I feel like this is some shit like we're gonna like look in a fucking book in 20 years, like, oh, that's a cool photo moment. Bro, we're gonna remember this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna remember this. Is like, yo, you were more concerned about taking a fucking picture than fucking literally harming innocent fucking Americans who are just trying to protest, their rights as fucking Americans. And then his constant thing of like calling, like not saying what happened to George Floyd was wrong. Like that just fucking, dude, drives, like, bro, just fucking say, hey, this was wrong. I really hope we fucking, take these four officers to the full extent of the law. Like, he's not saying that, bro. He's calling everyone fucking looters, thugs, governors, you're a bunch of pussies, control your fucking states. Like, bro, how the fuck, like, that whole thing of, like, I remember when he was running for president, like, I didn't vote for him, but I kind of, like, was, like, enamored of, like, wow, this guy doesn't talk like a fucking proper politician. Yeah. It may be cool to have, like, just, like, a human being interaction.
Right.
Well, bro, at this point, like, even before this, but now it's, like, a different level, bro. It's just disgusting. Like, it is disgusting on every level. And then, again, to say that's our president is even more embarrassing, bro. So, like, I honestly thought, like, when it was just coronavirus, like, he may end up winning the election because, like, he'll find a cure, he'll save the economy. But, bro, even if they find a vaccine, even if the economy goes back to normal tomorrow, bro, if America fucking gives him 4 more years, bro, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, and all my life, I am getting the fuck out of here, bro, because I don't want to be a part of people like that. Like, I just don't. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be a part of it, bro. Like, I love my family. I love my cities, like New York and Florida, where I'm from, like states where I'm from. But, like, bro, I gotta get the fuck out. Like, I'll go to fucking Canada. I'll go to DR. I'll go to Mexico. I'll go back to India for 4 years. Like, I'm gonna fuck. Like, I'm that passionate, bro. Like, this has been disgusting on every level, man. It's just like we can't let that be the guy who says like he's in charge of us, because he's not leading shit, bro. He's only worried about his people, himself. Like, bro, it's racism from the top, literally, with him. And like, to not even fucking be human enough to say, damn, that guy was fucking killed for no reason. Like, that sucks. Like, just that's all we're asking for, bro. Just say, bro, that was terrible. Like, I feel for this guy's family, as opposed to like looters, you're thugs. Like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah, no, those are all great points. And if you do move, let's figure out which country you're going to, because this is one of the few times where I'm like, I actually might need to fucking leave this country, just because it's a bunch of nonsense. And I still don't understand, like, if he's saying this stuff because he wants to win another 4 years and he he knows that's like what his supporters want to hear, or if he believes this shit, or if it's a combination of both. But it almost seems like he's purposely framing things certain ways because he knows like his racist supporters are gonna like resonate with it. Not to say he's not bigoted, but I'm just like it seems so calculated in a lot of ways, which is just as bad if he's willing to sacrifice like the emotion and status of the country just to get a few extra votes or whatever. So who knows? I do one like difference I did recall from this like protest / riot versus when I was in Spain doing a study abroad in college was I wasn't allowed to take pictures, which I didn't know. So in Spain.
Wait, when you were in Spain, there was a riot?
Yeah, in Barcelona there was a riot.
Oh, when like the Catalonia wanted to become like their own country?
No, not even that one. It was like a fucking soccer game. In a bunch of Brits.
I was like, yo, was it with the independence? You're like, nah, like Barcelona playing for Real Madrid.
Literally, it was like a bunch of Brits in Barcelona getting super faded at this bar. And all I remember is like fruit and shit being tossed. Probably some fights broke out. And like they brought out like a fucking fleet of police. And chairs were being thrown, motherfuckers were getting batoned and shit. And I'm innocently like, way across the street, not even in the middle of the action, holding my camera, trying to film this shit. And somehow, and I'm with like a huge group of people, like some of them were in my class. And somehow this cop like fucking, I don't know, 500 feet away, like spots me between like several other people, even though it seemed like a lot of other people were recording. It was like, hey, yeah, like give me the camera. And I was like, why? And she's like, you can't film this, like it's not how it works in Spain. And she just like snatched the shit, gave it to a cop, and they drove off. And I was pissed because I had my memory card and everything in it from like the entire trip.
But at least it was like a camera, not like the only phone you had for your trip.
Yeah, that would have flipped out. Yeah, this was before like I think everyone had a smartphone. Gotcha. I still had like my fucking LG Rumor Sidekick type phone. So I was still like pissed off because I'm like, I could have just deleted this shit. Like you didn't even take.
Yeah, I could have just been like, all right, no more pictures. Let's say.
So I basically stuck around and like for the next 20 minutes or whatever, like was begging the cop like, can you bring it back? Like I'm like, they have my camera, like I was taking pictures but I can delete it. Eventually they like drove the squad car with my camera back and like sat there and like watched me delete the footage.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's at least you got your shit back.
Yeah, so I got it back, but it also makes me wonder like how often this stuff happens in other countries and it's just not documented, because for us in America, like this is kind of brand new, so it is kind of traumatizing, but it makes you also want to empathize with other countries that might be dealing with this shit like on a monthly or yearly basis or whatever.
Dude, you're absolutely right. So it's funny that I said I would go back to India because like my Indian friends are making fun of the Indian people and government, like, oh, you're fucking all about Black Lives Matter, but there is literally 7 other races here that you fucking treat like shit. So what about those people? You know what I mean? Or ethnicity, sorry, that you treat like absolute dog shit. So I know Black Lives Matter, but so do Kashmiri lives, so do, Muslim lives, and like, so, no, you're right, bro. Like, you're right. It's for us though, it's perspective, right? Like we're America, we're the United States. We're meant to be the people who bring freedom to the rest of the world, and yet a minority, but which is almost a majority of the country, is like treated like absolute fucking terribly. So it's like, bro, this is not okay. Yeah. And it kind of goes into like what I wanted to quickly discuss, the theory drop of the day. It's like the police system itself, bro. So like I was doing a little bit of research yesterday because obviously I want to be educated. Like we should all use this time to educate ourselves on something. And like, bro, the police system itself was designed for post-slavery to keep the people who used to be slaves under control as they gained wealth, to make sure if they ever got out of line, there's a force there to fucking keep them in check. And then I don't know if that mindset has changed throughout the years, but that's the foundation on what this system is based on, bro. So like, we all assume we get better, we progress, there's rules, blah, blah, blah. But like, bro, if that's the basis, like, dude, like, how are their trainings, bro? Because I've seen multitude of videos, like, even like Hispanic and like black officers told, like, target these groups of people if you see them. Like, there's different rules for them, bro. Like, for maybe you see a white guy, ask questions, blah blah blah. But if you see a black and Latino, be prepared for some shit. Like, they're already going into like the situation. Like, all right, if I see anyone brown, it's gonna be a problem. And like, dude, there was a video in, I think it was LA or maybe Chicago, like this, they were trying to rob this liquor store and they were able to fight off the people. And then this reporter is recording it and like flags down cops and says, hey, come here and help us. And then, dude, the people who fought off the looters were black. And like, the cops came straight to them and arrested them. And like, she's like, no, they own the place. And they're like, calm down, lady. They're going away. Don't worry about it. She's like, no, motherfucker. They're the good people. Like, so that's my thing, bro. It's just like, I guess my theory drop of the day is like, really, like, we should all like really understand like what the police system is. And I kind of get annoyed. And again, I know there's good cops, bro. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think my nephew's about to be a cop in Miami-Dade. Like, I'm not saying like there shouldn't be cops. But fuck, bro, if that's the foundation of what the system is built on, there has to be some kind of structure to try to retrain and reprogram these people to like, yo, like, in 2020 and moving forward, your job is to protect and serve everyone, not just the people who are in this status of the world, and like anyone below, yo, kill on sight if they get out of line. Like, that's not your fucking intention. And if it is your intention, then we shouldn't have fucking cops, bro. We should have fucking, like, maybe highway patrol and, you know, like, you know, maybe national, I don't know, bro. But like, if their intention is just to fucking knock out fucking parts of the fucking demographic, then we shouldn't have fucking cops in the first place.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. And personally, I feel like, and I've heard this, I forget from where, but I think the cops need to be familiar with the communities that they patrol, whether they specifically were raised in that community or there's like a forced interaction with the citizens there. Because if you take, you know, let's say a white cop who grew up in an affluent neighborhood and all of a sudden wants to be a cop in like the depths of the hood, you know, naturally they're going to be afraid of black and brown people because they probably didn't grow up interacting with them. And you know, if they and they do encounter people who fit the stereotypes too. So that's another issue, is those interactions might reinforce their stereotypes. You know, bald with tattoos, they catch a gun on him, and then all of a sudden every fucking brown and black person with that's bald and has tattoos is doing something wrong by default when they come across them. But I think if they have interactions with members of the community, it doesn't matter if they're gang members or just regular old people. I think a combination of the both would make them less impulsive and trigger happy and just fear for their lives 24/7 if they kind of have a relationship with the community and know what's going on. And people in the community might also, you know, fear cops less and be less resistant and shit too if they know Officer Jimmy or whatever, you know, is cool with them and, you know, looks out for their mom when they're out working or something. Like, I feel like it has to be basically people have to be treated as if they're innocent before they're you know, it's vice versa, where they're treating them like they're guilty until proven innocent after they've, you know, fucking ransacked their car and, you know, emptied their pockets and everything. And I think another thing too is that I don't know, like with I think just like media in general, like we're portrayed a certain way. And I think outside of the police, like people are just generally afraid of like black and brown people that look a certain way. I don't know how to easily fix that, but I was talking with my roommates like about the movie Us. And the dad in that movie is, I mean, the family's black.
But like Harvard graduated, like fucking
yeah. And you know, the kids and everyone in the family doesn't sound like stereotypically black, you know, using slang and shit the whole time. The dad like has a boat. So there's all these things like I think, is it Peele? The director? All these things he incorporated into the film on purpose to kind
Yeah,
of
like even Get Out, like the main guy in Get Out is a fucking photographer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's a normal like artist, not like a fucking like he's a basketball player and he happens to have like a white girlfriend.
right. So to us, like, or just some white people who might not understand, like seeing those things are like big fucking deal maybe, but over time, like this imagery just becomes embedded in our subconscious. And you know, prior to all these movies, we would just assume all black people were either, you know, basketball players or I don't know, like
or rappers,
fucking clerks or some shit. And rappers and front desk attendants and stuff. Like you never really saw us, you know, as doctors or like police chiefs and stuff too often.
Right. So that's why there's a show on Netflix from the guys who make like I think it's Blackish or Black as Fuck, whatever. It is like he has like his own show now. The guy who wrote the show about him and his family, and it's just like, so I personally don't enjoy the writing of the show because I know like he's trying to it's corny. Like some of it's corny, but I know that the goal is to like, hey, like not all of us need to be rappers, football players, NBA. Like you can be a fucking screenplay writer and also have like a balling ass life. You know what I mean? Like there's other ways to do so. I appreciate that part of it. I just don't think the writing's very good and it's like pretty shitty acting. But like the overall, like, yo, I appreciate you pushing that agenda because I feel like even for like young black kids, bro, like they need to be able to see something else, right? Because like if all you see is like, all right, I can only make it in life if I'm fucking a super duper athlete, which again, that mindset where every black kid's gonna be the best athlete in the world is not accurate. And then, or I have to fucking be able to rap. It's like, bro, no, there's a million other avenues for you, which why like obviously Barack being president, like people need to see that shit, right? Especially young fucking black kids who like maybe from any kind of background, bro, affluent or not, like they need to be able to know like, yo, I can do whatever the fuck I want and actually believe that shit.
Yeah. And on your point about Obama, like regardless of what people think about his presidency and whether he was good or bad, I've heard criticisms from all people, including black people, about like certain policies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing like nobody could take away, I don't care if you're a diehard Trump supporter, is just representation and the power of seeing someone that looks like you in positions of power and the kind of like encouragement and confidence that brings. Like even in my own office, like, you know, my boss is white, like the majority of people I interact with are white, and they're not mean people by any means, and I'm friends with a lot of them, but there is just something about seeing like a black face like in a position of power that makes me feel like, okay, I can do this too. And you know, any mistakes or, you know, things that others say that might not be pleasant have absolutely nothing to do with color. It's just, you know, about my work ethic or whatever. Like I think for America it was really important to have someone like Barack Obama in that position of power, because, you know, most of the people who may have had biases against black people couldn't say anything at that point, because it's like there's a black man running the show, so to speak. So, you know, maybe they should check themselves and realize, like, you know, no one should be judged for their skin color, and like we just need more diversity.
100%, man. That's why I was so grateful for my upbringing. You know, shout out to my mom. Like, yo, going to India was like, bro, like I see a bunch of like non-white, but also just like everyone who wanted to be successful was making it happen, right? Like it wasn't like you had to be this complexion to make it work. Like, no, you could be brown, you can be Asian, you can be whatever the fuck you want, as long as you actually fucking study and try to do whatever you want. Like at the end of the day, like it's on you. And like the sad part for like a lot of people in America, like especially the brown and black community, like you feel like you can do all that and still not have a chance to make it because you're just so fucking like. There's been a couple like really like impactful videos on like racism like recently, and but like this one lady had like a great point. It's like, yo, being black in America is like playing basketball against a white kid. The game is to 21. There's 1 minute left in the game. you have 0 points, so he already has 20. Like the game starts off at 0 to 20, and like that's the advantage, like white America, like that's the white privilege, right? So like it's really tough. Like I get that. That's why I feel like a lot of this stuff is necessary that's happening now, because like like you're not even giving a lot of people a chance, and that's why I feel like I'm not saying it's okay to do anything as far as looting and rioting, but at some point, bro, like you're gonna there's only so many times you can fucking poke a bear without the fucking bear just losing his shit and fucking tearing you to shreds. Like,
yeah. And another thing too, on the point of privilege, I forget if we touched on it, but I've heard white people say before, like, I'm not privileged. I grew up poor, or I didn't have both parents or whatever. But I think the point they're forgetting is, and I think white privilege, the message was executed poorly, and this is why it wasn't communicated properly, was that the emphasis is supposed to be on the fact that your skin color as like a white individual 9 times out of 10 won't be a disadvantage in whatever situation you're in. Like maybe if you're dating a black dude and the parents don't like you, like that might be a case or something, but as you're navigating through the world and doing everyday shit, white skin,
you get pulled over, you're never thinking, oh my god, keep your hands on the wheel, or you're gonna fucking not see your family when you get home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you're not gonna walk through the convenience store and have eyeballs on you unless you're faded out of your mind and wilding out. You're not gonna stroll into an affluent white neighborhood and get stares left and right and have the cops call on you because you look out of place. Like there's so many things that they don't have to think about, understandably, and the reason they don't have to think about it, they don't understand that other people have to think about it. Therefore, they think racism and prejudice and just being uncomfortable on a daily basis is even a thing. So I'm hoping that this all helps them understand that, and that they teach their children as well. Because I was back to when you asked what was like one of the more happiest heartfelt things that happened with all this. I was actually driving home from lunch the other day, and I saw, I think it was 2 white parents and like 3 little white kids, I think all girls, like holding Black Lives Matter signs and everything.
Nice.
In my mind, I'm like, this right here could potentially be like the biggest, if not one of the biggest ways to like change the mindset, because it's really hard to change like a 40-year-old who's been prejudiced their whole life to think differently. Like they have to want it. Whereas a 5-year-old white girl who is just beginning to learn about race, I'm hoping she grows up and has black friends and hires black people and isn't afraid, and that their parents are teaching them properly, which it seems like these parents were doing. So I think that moment I was like, it just felt really good. It felt like people were actually changing and not just talking about it.
Yeah, that's a good story you shared. That was a lot for episode 31. No justice, no peace. I don't really have a heat of the week, but I do want to give a shout out to Apple Music. And let me know if Spotify did a thing. So in Apple, unless you were going, so yesterday for Blackout Tuesday, unless you were going through your own personal library, they were only playing like black music, like predominantly black artists, like on a playlist all day, and then having like conversations about what's happening as well. So that was a pretty cool thing where they're like, we're not trying to profit off anything right now. We're not going to be pushing you to fucking, hey, download this playlist or download this. Like, we're going to just play, some great music for you, and then have conversations throughout about like, hey, what's going on right now. So that was a pretty cool thing. So shout out to Apple Music for doing that at least, and obviously hopefully they put some money behind it as well. But it wasn't heat of the week, but I just thought it was a cool thing to shout out.
Dope. So I didn't really listen to Spotify yesterday, so I'm not sure if they did something. I hope they did. But to be honest, I'm not too sure. I know one idea my roommate came up with was potentially for Blackout Tuesday, removing the music of all black artists for a day to like make a point of
without us, you ain't got shit.
Yeah, basically. But now that I think about it, that would be kind of fucked up, because they would all not be making money and all the white artists would be.
It'd be broke Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I don't really have a heat of the week. Yeah, I do. So with all of this, I don't know why J. Cole came to mind. I was I think I was just in the mood to like listen to uplifting music.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw his or know of his song called Simba from way back in
I don't.
like 2010, but to this day I still think it's one of the.
Was that on Friday Night Lights?
No, I think it was before that, like on
Okay.
Come Up Season or something like that. But it was still one of the best J. Cole songs / music videos I've seen. It was all taken in one shot, so I'll send the link to you after. But
Please, yeah.
I was listening to that after I heard someone playing the Born Sinner, one of the songs off of the Born Sinner albums. So I went back to that album. The song Illuminati off that. I forgot how much I love that song. So I was just kind of going through some of J. Cole's old stuff, and it reminded me of like how talented he is, like
and how pro-black he is, like unapologetic.
Pro-black. And he was out there, in the field, or not the field, but the streets, marching with.
I think he was either in Charlotte or he was in like in Fayetteville. I think
he was in Fayetteville.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Lil Yachty was there too, which is kind of interesting. Is he from there?
I don't know about that, but I know he was
Atlanta.
with Dennis Smith Jr., who's like on the Knicks, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how far he's come and how he's now like taken a step back and been able to pull strings behind the scene without being in everyone's face. But
and still making so much fucking money, like which is amazing.
Still
right? I
making
feel like a lot of artists like don't do that because like there's no money in that. It's like, bro, like if you're true to yourself and your craft, like it may take longer, but you're probably gonna still end up on top. And I feel like, bro, like I think he was on the Forbes list, right, like a couple years ago, for just like fucking just making so much money. Like he only dropped like one album. Like how did this happen? But like,
right,
apparently,
kind of like Russ.
All his, yeah, like Russ, bro. Like Russ is like, dude. And shout out to Russ, dude. Apparently he's raised almost like $500,000 for the movement, which is fucking phenomenal. So, yeah, kudos to him for like never ever like being a culture vulture, but also just being very much for the people.
Yep. And not only that, my brother's friend has a store in LA. It's like a street brand, I think. And looters fucked his whole shit up. And this was a black and brown owned business. So it hurts even more because not that we would condone, ruining some white person's
guys, yeah.
But it hurts even more because it kind of proves the point that these looters aren't really out here for the message. They're just trying to, come up on some like new sneakers or something. But it turns out Russ, he must have had a personal relationship with the owners or something, but he donated like 25 grand to help them
to fix it.
Nice. Which he obviously didn't have to do. So it's dope to see these artists again come out, put their money where their mouth is, and not like advertise it either. They're just doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah, dude. And like again, you don't want to like talk about other people's pockets, but like $25,000 for Russ may be the equivalent of like $100 to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you take it for what it's worth. But like even if you give him $5, right, he doesn't have to. Which is like I feel like we gotta give respect where respect is due. So I think Russ has been doing a great job. I think even Jack Harlow came out and was like shitting on people for like his white fans who aren't supporting it. So yeah, dude. I think for the most part, I feel like the industry as far as the artists are doing right by the culture and supporting fucking everyone who's out there marching and struggling. And again, it's just on the rest of America to fucking take notice and fucking be able to help with the change, right? Because it's not going to be if it's only a black movement, it's not going to change. Is not going to happen, at least not right away. It's when like a large percentage of the white population comes in, the people who actually control shit right now, and say, yo, this is wrong. We gotta fucking fix this. I think that's when we're gonna see the change we deserve.
For sure. Yeah, we gotta meet each other halfway. It can't be all of us, trying to make change. People with the power and the money to do so need to step in and just be empathetic at the end of the day. So,
dude, we're all humans, bro. Like at the end of the day, like, yo, you cut me, you cut you, you cut a white guy. We're all gonna bleed the same way. We gotta fucking remember that shit. Like you had no fucking choice in being, from where you're from. I had no choice in being, where I'm from. So like you can't be getting mad at me for shit I have no control over, bro.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, man. This is a great episode, bro. I've really enjoyed this. I'm glad we did our own research beforehand so we can educate others and share the knowledge we both have and our different experiences. Obviously, yours being the most important right now because we really want to get an insight. So I appreciate you for being so fucking candid with everything. Anything else you want to say before we dip?
No, just spread love. Don't forget the message and educate those around you too if you catch them slipping. Because I know the biggest or one of the bigger messages that came out of this is it's not about non-racist or non-racism, but being anti-racist. So just because you're not out here using slurs and being mean to people doesn't mean that when you see it you can just turn a blind eye and pretend like and wash your hands clean from the situation and walk away. Like, you should call other people out. You can do it respectfully. You don't have to hurt them, but just make them well aware that it's not right, and give them the reasons why, and then keep it pushing.
I agree. All right, people. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. Episode 31, No Justice, No Peace. Available everywhere. Go stream that shit, share that shit. And yeah, man, we have a video right now. It's what, like 600 views right now, or?
I think it's at like 900 at this point.
Dude, let's go, bro. This is we're coming up, baby. We're coming up. All right, bro. Peace.
All right, man. Peace. Literally peace.